I've got the new ball gasket and the valve and needle seat combined. Now the O-ring included with the valve and needle seat has to go around here. Just like that. You can lubricate this a bit before putting it in. I've put just a bit of liquid wrench on, just so it goes in easier, and push down like that. Next there's a Phillips screw that goes here. This holds the seat in place. Next you want to insert the needle on this clip here. Like this. Then insert it into the seat. Then we'll install the pin. You want to make sure the pin's pushed in all the way so that it's flush with that leg there. Next, put this plastic ring back on here. Now you want to put your new ball gasket on. Make sure it's into the notches here. And there's 4 screws that hold the ball on. So now I've got the carburetor ready to be put back on. And first of all, I'm going to start by putting the intake boot back on. Make sure you've got a good O-ring here. This is the area that goes to the motor. And the Yamaha emblem there goes up like this. Now while I had the carb off, I put a rag there just so nothing would go in the motor. So you're going to need these 2 Allen bolts that go here as well. So here's a better view of it. And you can see the Yamaha logo here is facing up. And all you have to do is tighten up these 2 Allen bolts. Next I'm going to put the carburetor, and it's got to go between these 2 pieces here. Now to put the carb back on, first of all you want to insert the throttle cable through this pipe here. And now you want to screw the throttle cable clamp onto the carb. Push the clamp that holds the throttle cable right to the carb here. And there's a Phillips screw that goes right here. Slide the carburetor between these 2 pieces here. So push back on the air filter part. Bring your carburetor right in here. And now you want to get the 2 studs at the front into the intake boot. So there are the studs from the carburetor. Now you just need to put a small washer and nut that's came off. Just a tiny little washer. And that's a 12 millimeter. Now on top of the bike here, there's a hose that was here that goes on the connector over here. And the overflow tube at the back, just run it behind these lines and out the back. Next you want to attach the throttle cable. You're going to need this little clip here that came off when you took the carb off. There's one end that's got a big hole in it for the cable, and the other side is narrow. So you would put the side that's bigger into the cable like this. So that it's on the cable like this. Hold it right to the end. Then move the throttle control up a bit like this. And then insert the cable by going up. So you would insert the whole clip and the cable into this hole here and run the cable through the gap at the top here. And push in. And then just let go like that, and your cable's hooked on. If you press the throttle cable, it's going to go up and down like that. And I'm going to lubricate the whole mechanism in there with liquid wrench. Next, you would install this plastic cover over the throttle cable assembly. And there's a bunch of small Phillips screws that you would put on that cover. Next, you would install your fuel line on this connector here. So the next thing to do is to put the fuel tank back on. So now you would sit the fuel tank on top like this. And there's two bolts that go at the bottom here. One here, one over there. Now there's another bolt that goes over here. And you can reach it by going under the fender. And there's another bolt that goes here under the fender. Now you would grab your fuel line and measure it out and cut it to fit. Put the clip back on. Now you put your fuel tank cover on. First you got to remove the fuel cap. That just goes over here like that. There's two Phillips screws that go at the bottom. One here and one over here. Now the last thing to put on are the two screws that go up top. One goes here and one goes here at the front. And just put your seat back on and you're done. So I've got it all back together, got the seat back on. So I'm going to start it up just to see how it runs. It's a really nice ATV. What I like about it is it's got low and high speeds and reverse. And it's got 5 gears all up. And this one here is a 4x4 as well. So I can't ride it on the streets here because there's a bylaw in town that prohibits ATVs from riding on the streets. It's a 1995 and it still has the same tires. I'll just give it one last start.